I think I turned everything on and off the way I should.
I guess I'm gonna take your word for it because I don't know.
Oh, you have got a weird. Oh, hold on a minute. Let me turn this down. Okay, I think that might be better.
You doing weird stuff to me?
You were doing this weird echo thing. I think I had the You're coming through my headphones. I think I had that turned up too high. So sounds okay now. I think. Anybody out there?
I don't want
Let us
to.
know. Okay.
Yeah,
Robin
I don't want to
says
do
yes.
weird echo things. Okay.
No, Robin says it's good. So okay.
Good. Good. I've got a new water. I was also for those that like to know what's happening, like behind the scenes and what weird crap we're doing. I'm like running around my quilt studio. As you can see, I replaced stuff behind me, and I just had the basket quilt up. As something nice and soft. The other day, Steph, when I was streaming by myself, I had something like a lot richer and darker up. I'm like, let's have something nice and springy. And then I look over and like that looks great. And then like there was just this like space where you could just see like a weird looking stack of quilts. And I'm like, oh, that kind of looks gross. So I'm like running around like, what can I throw over there to like that's still nice and springy?
It looks
So now
nice.
now I'm kind of like you with like the two. Hi, Alicia.
Hey,
Uh,
Alicia.
with the two quilts in the back there. I actually was thinking about this today. I'm like, I really got to get my budding gear like right before we go out of town for 2 weeks, to get that hanging system thing that I keep talking about. I really gotta do it. You guys gotta hold me accountable. Do the thing. So yeah,
Well,
it's Tuesday, right? Is Tuesday?
yeah. Can you believe it was literally a week ago that you had to stream by yourself?
Oh my God, if you could have seen me in the background. Actually, that reminds me, you should probably tell everyone real quick what happened to you if they, because I mean I gave them like the little amount that I knew, that you decided to slice your fingers off right before the stream.
Yeah, I
Um,
was just having like, man, I just have too many fingers. Whack one off. Yes, probably a lot of people have either seen on Instagram or on my stream and have maybe caught up to what happened. But last Tuesday night, getting ready for Quilt Nerding, I was running late. I was hurrying and I was trying to open a can of corn.
because you need a can of corn for quilt nerding.
Well, I need a can of corn to feed my family before Quilt Nerding. And well, let's just yada 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 it and manage to slice my fingers like this on the lid of the can, and I had to have 8 stitches in this finger. So
Yeah, she calls
yeah.
me in a panic. I'm getting a call 30 minutes before our stream, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, this isn't good. And usually my first thought is like, her computer has blown up. It's on fire, like something's going on. And she was hysterical and like, oh my God, I have an accident. I can't look at my hand. And I'm just like, oh my God, go leave. But then I'm like, what am I going to do?
Well, it's you were just fine, and it's all
Yeah,
good.
for
It all
people
worked out. It all worked out.
yeah, for people that were here, like my technical skills are not as sharp as Stephanie's. But I mean, we flew by the seat of our pants. We looked at some really cool, we had a nice little time. But we missed you. If you go back and watch that stream more than once, I'm like, Stephanie, I miss you.
I
Um,
I'm well. You always yell at me about telling on myself, but I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. It's been a crazy week, but
oh, I wasn't even inviting you to tell on yourself.
well, I don't want to act
Well,
like I've seen it because I haven't. So
yeah, there's some nice, I mean, you'll be really upset with me that like you didn't, I don't know, you'll be upset and not upset that you missed that auction.
well, see, here's the thing. That was the other thing that was on my mind is that um Dana's auction was the other day, and you mentioned a couple things to me like during the auction, and I was like, "Do not look, Stephanie. Do not look." Especially since our friend Sharon, some of her quilts were in that auction, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, and I know she's got beautiful things, so I just
There were some really, yeah, that auction had some really gorgeous stuff in it.
yeah.
And I will just say that I did kind of peak that day. I was actually busy doing something else and I couldn't like partake. A quilt that went for a significant amount of money, I was actually really surprised by. So it is definitely a good auction for like a review discussion at another time.
Yeah.
But yeah, we looked at it for one because there were some cool swatch books. But
Oh, that's right.
let's
I forgot
let's
about that. Yeah. So
yes,
we have announcements, all that.
we do. We do have announcements. Let me share. Do I need to share my sound? I don't think I do need to share my sound. Um, let's get that and oh no. That's not what I want. Get with the program here.
What is
Oh,
happening? Okay.
you know what happens is that stupid Zoom toolbar gets in the way of stuff. So you've seen this a million times already. I'm gonna keep telling you about it. This was also on like our starting soon screen, the reminder of like hosting our first virtual lecture. It's very exciting. And Steph, are you able by chance to pop the link into the chat while we're here
Yep,
for your
I sure
to
will.
register? And then one major thing I want to remind people is this lecture is meant to be a prequel to starting Pam's book, Portable Patchwork, which the first assignment for that book will go out on April 15th, and we'll start discussing it that following week. So I want to make sure that you guys have plenty of time to get it. Pam sells it herself. It's 35 with shipping included, and you can get it autographed by her. And so if you email her at pamela.weeks@gmail.com and like, in the subject, put like portable patchwork book or something. And then afterwards, of course, we also have an author interview.
Yeah.
So this is going to be the most involved like book reading scenario that we've done. But she was nice enough to kind of be our guinea pig to test this out. And the goal is to do more stuff like this.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So Pam agreed to be sort of our guinea pig to do this all inclusive sort of experience with her book and her knowledge and the author interview and all that stuff. So very
yeah.
exciting.
And then next, it's already time to talk about an April calendar. I can't believe it, but it is. This
Yeah.
calendar is very involved. Please don't be scared. It's probably one of the most involved calendars we've ever put in front of your face because there's a lot going on. So, we're going to have some recorded content in the month of April because Stephanie and I are doing a lot of traveling and things like that, and we want to make sure that everyone has something to do. So, on the first, I will be on the road heading to Lincoln, Nebraska, where Stephanie will shortly be meeting me there via plane. And so on the first, you'll have some recorded video content. Then the spread stuff here is we're in multiple places. We're going to Lincoln, Nebraska to the IQM. We're doing some background things with AQSG, and we're going to get to see IQM stuff. So we will share what we can with that. We decided since we're going to be traveling, we're going to move our stream to Sunday evening while we're in Iowa, having gone to the Iowa Quilt Museum.
There's some
Um,
Iowa downtime.
yeah, our goal is to show you guys stuff while we're there, along the way of what we're doing. So that'll stay at our regular time of 7 p.m. Eastern. And then from there, we go to stay with a friend in Minnesota for a couple of days, which there's going to be like some antiquing and stuff. So hopefully we'll have maybe some content from that. Then Stephanie gets home in time to do her regular stream. I get on the road to drive back. I come back on Friday. We have our Pam lecture on the 12th. Like, it's already coming. That's like,
Hmm.
what
Yeah,
is it? Like 3 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? I don't know,
yeah.
two
It's
and a
like
half
two and a
weeks
half.
away.
Yeah, it's 2.5 weeks. Yep.
That's terrifying. So much going on. And then here on this day, I have to go to Block Island to go to the Block Island Historical Society to look at more
Oh, you
quilts.
have to go. I was supposed to go, but life's gotten in the way, so I'm
Yeah.
gonna skip that trip.
So
But
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get the content on Stephanie's behalf. I'll try to FaceTime her if I can. But that trip, we were invited specifically for content creation. So that's really cool. Hi, Janet, if you're watching. Um, we get back to our normal schedule here. We're going to do the 15th. That's where we give our first assignment for the portable patchwork book. The 22nd, we'll start discussing it. And then Stephanie runs away again and goes to Temecula to the trip that she went to last year. So we'll have lots to hear about that, and we'll have another recorded video that plays. And then once we get into May, we'll drop down into a lot more normal. There's still travel in May, but it's not
yeah,
near as jarring as this one is.
yeah, and
So,
not that it really pertains to here right now, but there's probably going to be some Thursday changes to my stream too in April, but they're still up in the air because family stuff. So
Mm-hmm. So yeah, this calendar I'll post to the socials and things like that and whatnot. Now, before Stephanie gets on to her fabulous gallivanting at Virginia Quilt Museum, there's one other thing to talk about here. I'm gonna have to do like multiple things on my screen. But I want to talk to you about a friend of ours. One of like the coolest things for me and Steph is we have some of the coolest friends. And like we keep meeting and making like more and more cool friends. So let me tell you about this person here on the screen. Isn't she gorgeous? Her name's Sarah. And she just happens to be the fabulous, wonderful businesswoman behind Caravan Quilts, which, if you've seen on social media, is this cutie patootie signature. What's the word I want? Like,
it's like a signature stamp or a
yeah,
signature.
it's a signature stamp. And it's
Mhm.
funny because Stephanie and I were just doing some stuff
Yeah.
with signature quilts today.
Yeah, we just
And
looked at
like,
some.
I was like, oh, I have to make sure that everyone sees her logo because it is so stinking
Can you
cute.
zoom in on it a little bit because it's very tiny
Yeah.
on my screen?
Oh, is it? Sorry, it's not as tiny looking for me.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, it's so cute.
and it looks like one of those like really involved hand drawn
Yeah.
signature pieces. So
Hmm.
I'm gonna, okay, don't everybody get sick here, but I'm gonna kind of bounce around a little bit on the screen. I'm sorry. Oh, that's not it. Where am I going? God. Too many
So many
tabs.
things. So many things you have there.
So many things going up. Okay. So I'm going to show you a couple of things here because our lovely friend Sarah not only has a really active Instagram account with some really gorgeous things on it, but she has a really nice web page. And the reason I kept this up when you first get onto her website is because she is has been she launched a an email newsletter recently. Sorry, I'm losing words like crazy. It's a really pretty curated kind of email. It's almost like a lifestyle kind of scenario. It's really nice because sometimes she'll share like homemade recipes and things.
Oh,
It's
I
a
love
very like
that.
yeah, it's a very immersive experience that she's got going on. Um, but yes, otherwise I wanted to like have us kind of look into her site. She's got some really great photography skills. Like it's so funny we were talking about the other day how difficult it can be to photograph quilting. But like look at this photo here and the way that she's captured the light really
Hmm.
captures the quilting on there. I remember when she posted this quilt on her social media and I think I had like replied to her like, "Oh my God, look at the look at the fabrics in there." Um
Oh
yeah,
yeah, her
like look
photographs are beautiful.
yeah, she really like she does well, it's this diverse curation of textiles, you know. She focuses mainly on American quilts, 19th and early 20th centuries. She really likes to get some of the very unusual kinds of stuff, not the same stuff that everyone is showing all the time. She focuses mostly on quilts and tops. I have seen her do you know, blocks and things like that. Oh yeah, there you go right there, quilt blocks. Ooh, that fabric's insane. Okay, don't shop, Jill. Don't shop.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say we do have to get to our content. Like,
Yes. She also, I do want to point out too, for people that maybe are hesitant to get into collecting, she does have a very wide range of price point, making collecting more accessible to everyone. And this whole website that she's created is like an immersive shopping experience, which invites you to explore the textiles through a full-on kind of lifestyle approach to loving and collecting quilts. And I just want to make sure that you guys get a gander here at her social media, um,
oh yeah,
which she does
I put
right.
her website on. But...
Okay. Um, this I'm showing you right here is just posts. She does do a lot of reels and stuff too. The really interesting thing here is she does all her photography and everything inside a caravan. That's why she's Caravan Quilts, because this is a
Oh.
17th century shepherd's wagon where she
What?
does all her stuff. Yeah, so if you get on her social media, you'll see pictures of the outside of it. The inside, it always looks huge based on like the way she's taking photos and stuff. I'm gonna guess it's probably not as huge as I think it is, but she's also she's in New York. So I'd actually been thinking like, wow, she's really not that far. I'm like, maybe I should go over there sometime and be like,
Yeah.
let's see this stuff. Yeah, she does a lot of like um background stuff. She's like, this is like her studio, and she's like just inviting you into her studio every day. She's often in the photos. Um, she's also recently, I just want to tell you guys, she's launched this new thing, these lavender sachets that are really nice. Yeah, she's got a lot going. She's very, very active, very involved. It's a whole thing to follow.
I think her website and her social media just really classy looking. Like she
Hmm.
does a really nice job.
Very like this photo here, because she often will post pictures about like food. She's really into what did she say? She's an ingredients type family, so she does a lot of scratch cooking. This gives me kind of Victorian romanticism vibes. And let's just like not get too hung up on her gorgeous curly hair. You always want the hair you don't have, and I have straight hair. Um, just saying. But anyways, we're doing some collabing with her right now, and that's one reason why we want to make sure that we highlight other people in the world, and she's just delightful, and we really appreciate her. So,
Tish also wants a shepherd's wagon.
I mean, we could make it like the thing now, right? Like, okay. I think I'm done. I will stop sharing because you have.
Yeah. I just have my one thing to mention related to not just Pam's
Oh, you
lecture,
did.
but the reading of the book.
Mhm.
This is our giveaway book. I took it from my mom. She has two.
I was gonna say she stole it from her mother.
No, she knew I was taking it. I will have out in the next day or two on the Quilt Nerding Facebook group. I will put out the link to do the thing.
The link to sign up for the giveaway.
Yes, the link to put your name in the hat for the giveaway. Because that's the only. I know some of you do not love the Google Forms and stuff, but it's the only way we have to like really collect your information for drawing. So you'll want this book. So keep an eye out on the Facebook group, and I'll put the link and stuff out there. So all right, let's get to it.
But while you're getting yourself going there, I did want to mention, since we're looking at Amy Pabst micropiecing on the Virginia Quilt Museum website. There is also under Amy Pabst's exhibit page, there is a YouTube video there for an interview that Alicia did with Amy, like last month or something like that.
Yeah.
And you should watch that.
So bear with me. I have to do some fanciness here.
I shouldn't feel bad about my tabs, because looking at your desktop,
My desktop's a hot mess. Yeah.
it's your emotional support files.
Screen. Okay. Can you see it? Can everybody see it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I'll just tuck us up here in the corner. Okay. So yes, I visited the Virginia Quilt Museum this weekend. And I have a less crazy picture that I can point some cool things out in. But so much fun. It's a bit of a haul from my mother's house. It's about, well, during the day with just a little bit of traffic, it's about 2 hours and 15 minutes, or give or take.
Really? It's that far?
Yeah, Dayton, where Alicia is down there in that like toe part of Virginia. It's farther away than you think it is, but it's a beautiful drive. I mean, a lot of it you're on back roads and stuff, so it is very pretty.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a conglomeration of two pictures. Because I took two pictures and I was like, oh, well, if I put them together, you have a good idea what's going on here.
Actually, yeah, you did pretty good at lining them up.
Yeah, I may not have gotten the museum like perfectly lined up, but the museum is an old mill, and where we parked here up against basically what's like a little creek here that's coming out, and you see there's the where the mill wheel would be here. And I think it's still, I don't know if Alicia's still here, but I think it's still there, like attached to the building.
I think she said when we interviewed her, they turn it on like once a month.
Yeah.
Hi, Leah.
Hey, Leah. So yeah, so that's where that is. And then I'm a complete ding dong. I got so excited talking to Alicia and Amy. You're going to see Amy. I failed to get a picture of the other side of the building, which is actually kind of the front porch of the building. And
that's
it's
totally
overlooking.
Fair though, because when we interviewed her, that was the only picture I had.
Well, you're overlooking like this little road right here that goes in front of it is passing by like a pond. And she said I was standing there talking at the front door, and there was a man out front fishing. And she said, yeah, they stock it with trout. So,
I really didn't expect that.
Yeah. And so Virginia does not have any man-made lakes. Any natural lakes. So this is like a spring-fed situation. So it's man-made. It's very deep at one part, Alicia said, like near the spring, but like for the most part, it's just a big pond. That's pretty much what it is. But it is so pretty.
Alicia said the wheel is there and it does work.
So yeah, it's just so pretty there, and it's just like this like beautiful little area, and there's these like old houses over here. One of them is like the milliner's house, and these are like the silos, and there's like a walkway that goes over to them, but there's also doors down there, and they're not currently functional, but I think if I remember correctly during our interview, Alicia said that they do have plans to maybe make them a storage space when they can get some temperature control or whatever. So, but they're very pretty, and they're like, I was not expecting, like I've driven by silos and they look like big metal things, but this has like a stone around it. Very pretty. Like I was like, I'm very impressed just by this building as a mill building.
Well, so, that and the logo and the name looks really pretty on
Yes,
there.
that was the one thing I know we did not see in pictures, because the pictures that she sent us, she had pictures before they put the logo on. So it's very pretty, and you can see it like as you come down the road and you turn, you know you're in the right place because you see it kind of up ahead. It's very cool. All right. So I took some random pictures in addition to the two, or the actually three exhibits that I got pictures of. There was a fourth exhibit that I didn't get a chance to go over to, but just some of the cool things I took pictures of, because there was lots of fun things to look at in this building. This is up on the second floor. It's like a classroom, meeting room space, and it's divided from the other part of this floor just by this like wall that has windows in it. And so these are the kind of things I think you often see in like old factories and buildings like this. So I assume that that's original, and somebody has painted this charming little version of the building. Yeah. In these panes of glass. I think they were the same. There was two sets of windows, and they both had that little painting in the center.
That kind of painting gives me Winnie the Pooh vibes.
Yeah, it was just really sweet. I was like, oh my goodness, I have to get a picture of that. And then this is I think it's made out of neckties maybe. It was just a framed piece that they have hanging there, and I believe it's for sale. I just was like, oh, I love that. That's pretty.
That is cute.
Okay, so the reason I was there, aside from, of course, wanting to visit Alicia and see the new space, I was there to see our friend Amy. And Amy is well known for her very small quilts that have zillions of pieces in them. She has made this challenge for herself to make these tiny, tiny, tiny pieces. And you're going to see some of this stuff. Jill and I have had the pleasure and the privilege of actually holding some of these quilts, examining them up close. You're going to recognize some, Jill, because they're definitely some that we saw before. And just her talk was amazing. I've heard her talk several times, and every time I hear her story, I'm just like, girl, you are so cool. She's just her technical ability, her design ability is she's just so talented. So anyway, this is Amy standing back there talking to her sister. I was just like, snap, snap,
Those
snap.
are Amy's feet.
Yes, those are Amy's feet. So this is another picture of like I kind of took, and the way that the museum on the first floor is laid out, it's like kind of two big rooms, and although it's just a big open space, really. And they've used like curtains to divide the spaces. So over here on the other side of this was another small exhibit. Amy took up this middle space and part of this other space beside it. So this was kind of the first look, and I realized this is kind of weird and cockeyed looking. This sewing machine is the same sewing machine in both pictures, so it kind of give you a little bit of a lay of the land. But I mean, you see how small these are, and some of these have in the 20s and 30s thousands of pieces. She keeps track of how many pieces are in each block, and I mean these are like 1 inch, and the 2-inch blocks are the huge ones. The 1-inch blocks, and there's one that uses 1/2-inch blocks. There can be up to like 100 pieces in some of these little tiny blocks. It's absolutely stunning. So this is what Amy is currently working on, and so she passed these around, and we kept like faking her out and teasing her. I'm like, I'm gonna take these with me. But this is how she works. And I mean, you can see these little teeny strips are like, I think they finish at like 1/8 of an inch, 1/16 of an inch. I mean, it's just insane.
Like a sneeze of an inch.
I mean, these are all little pieces of fabric. And she passed around so that you could see that like this is the back of it. And she does use templates that she takes out of like, I think, Electric Quilter. And she prints them the size she wants, which in this case, I think these might have been like 2.5 inches. I want to say these were a little bit bigger. But I mean, you can see that's my knee they're laying on. So, and she pieces with monofilament so that no thread shows. And so even though, I mean, her precision is incredible. Like, you look at these and you're like, there are no mistakes, but just in case, she pieces with the clear thread so that there you can't see any of the stitches. So here's Amy talking, and I had this other picture of Amy and Alicia, but they both had weird looks on their faces. So I was like, I'm not going to do that to my friends. So I thought this one was cute though. So this one, Jill and I have seen in person, and I'm kicking myself. And of course, there was a lot of folks there, lots of people that wanted to see Amy's work. So I was trying to not be rude and like push people out of the way to take pictures. I wish I had gotten another picture of this like really, really close up.
You should have told me. I have one.
Yeah, I thought about that later. But what you're seeing here in the middle, you see this little grayish color there in the middle. Those are tiny elephants. She has fussy cut these little pieces. And I mean, I kid you not, those little elephants are probably like, that's less than 1/2 of an inch. And then she's done, this pineapple. It's a pineapple, traditional pineapple pattern around it. And the title of this one, I think, is Circus, because it's got that like kind of big top vibe. This one I think is Sharp Dressed Man. I think it's made out of ties, silk ties. And I know that a lot of her fabrics are thinner fabrics like silks, because they're anything that's thick like quilting cotton is often too thick for these itty bitties.
Yeah, I mean the crease when you fold over the fabric.
I mean, literally
just overtake everything in that block.
Yeah. I mean, even you just think about the fact that it's like one thread in there, and it's just too much, So this is just kind of a down the side of these little quilts. There was people in there. I didn't want to push anybody out of the way.
God, get with the program, Stephanie. Like, clearly we have more important things to do. Oh, I like that.
Yeah, this one's called Ruffled, I think. again, I apologize to you guys. I meant to take pictures of all of her little placards, and I just did not get to all of them. You know, again, it was just, we had a time crunch, and you know, again, people there. But this one I think is, it's inspired by, and I think it's actually based on a traditional quilt. So it's not just like a, you know, I think sometimes she does like inspired by with the colors and things, but I think this might be a more faithful reproduction of a old quilt. This one I absolutely love. It might be, it's probably my second favorite of her quilts, and this one's called Copper Pennies.
Oh yeah, we saw that too.
And yeah, and Alicia has a quilt in the, there's another exhibit here, a log cabin exhibit, that has a quilt that kind of reminds me of this.
One thing that I will point out, having I've seen this quilt in person, is the lighting is not accurately portraying that orange. That
Yeah.
orange is
It's a
really
very,
like,
it's a very coppery.
yeah,
Oh,
like it, and
yeah.
it's got a shine. And like Alicia says that this
Hmm.
one's one of her
Hmm.
favorites.
Well, and like I said, she uses a lot of silks, and even
Mhm.
some you know, like artificial silk. I mean, sometimes she's just using, it's polyester, but it's got the sheen like a silk.
You know, it makes me wonder, like, if she's going and buying fabric, right? Even with silk, is she going and being like, "Can I have 5 inches of a yard?" It's like,
Yeah, I think if I
really
remember
doesn't need
correctly,
much.
yeah, if I remember correctly, that's what she does. Or, you know, she would go to Joanne, and she mentioned, she's like, oh man, I'm so bummed Joanne is closing, because I'd get a lot of my, like, the polyester silks and stuff in there. And
Hmm.
if I remember correctly, I think she was saying, like, yeah, I can buy like a eighth of a yard, and you know, but also some of these take an absurd amount of fabric because of the cut, you know, cutting. There's a lot of waste in this type of
Hmm.
piecing. So this is the 1/2 inch one. Each of these little red and white doodads here is a 1/2 inch. So look at a ruler and actually look at that.
Yeah, that's
and I
crazy.
can't remember how many pieces are in each block. And she says this one is as small as she's ever been able to get. Anything smaller, it's just, it's not possible to you know, fold it out and have it work. And these are just ones, you know, I mean, again, like up close, of course, you have this, like, you know, your eyes bug out at, like, oh my God, those are tiny little pieces of fabric. But also, I really like her design sense. And I don't think it matters that these are this micro piecing. The design sense in these is really fantastic. I love this one.
Also, like the contrast with this photo of these quilts with the wood
The wood
background
ball, yeah.
is
But they look really
really
good.
interesting. That's really, you don't normally see that in a museum. You know, it's just a white wall or a
Yeah.
painted wall,
Well,
depending on the exhibit, and that's
that's
it.
the other beautiful thing about this museum is it's an old mill,
Mhm.
so it's like very rustic, and you know, I just, I'm in love with the building.
Yeah,
It's so gorgeous.
in this small one that looks, I mean, like from my perspective, it looks like it's got like arrows in it. I don't know that that's true, but that's kind of what it looks like. I don't know
It's
that I've ever seen that one.
yeah, I don't know that we saw this one, but no, it is there. It's just the fabrics she just used on those specific sides. She used like a darker, like a purpley gray fabric,
Hmm.
and that's just what it looks like. And she very carefully designs this stuff. She knows exactly, you know, none of this is by chance. These are just more. I mean, you know, I mean, they're all just so incredible to look at.
And it's funny because they're using all roughly the same block pattern, but they're
Hmm.
so wildly
Yeah,
different.
yeah. I mean, they're pineapples. You know, I mean, that's just, and it's how she manipulates the colors within them.
Hmm.
This one I love. I know we saw this one. Just it's, you know, so much looking, and I think this is one where she not really faithfully reproduced, but like she looked at a traditional, you know, antique quilt, and um you know, like kind of went for that look with these, with this
Hmm.
one.
Hmm.
I think this is another one. This one's actually on her business card, I think. And she has these business cards where she's like, that's the real block size. So that you can get an idea of, like, oh my God.
Yeah.
This one is my favorite. I just love the colors, and, you know, how this one, it's just, it vibrates kind of.
I think did we see this one in person like
I can't remember. I
before?
kept going back to it and looking at it, and just like, and I meant to ask her, but I mean, she was inundated with people that wanted to talk to her. But yeah, I feel like we did see this one. But I just, she's using, you can see she uses like striped fabrics
Mm-hmm.
in some areas, and it just gives it this like kind of vibration, this movement.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I just, she's just got such an incredible eye for
Did
design.
you did you happen to ask her when she uses that stripe fabric, is she trying to be precise in where that stripe is going to fall? Or
I
is
think
she
she
just
is.
like wherever it goes?
No, I think she is. I think she chooses.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can look and see this one. I mean, these are a little bit wiggly, but some of these other ones, it's like it looks like she made a conscious effort to
Mm-hmm.
how she put those together.
I mean, just what, in my opinion, I'm like, just one more thing to drive me crazy. Like, if this isn't small enough, not gonna add a stripe. Like,
Yeah, and I talked to my mom, and I talked to her sister for a while, and her sister was like, "Oh, she's so talented, and we are just amazed and in awe at everything she makes."
mm-hmm.
So, okay. So moving on, this was one of my favorite things at the museum's last location, which is the wall of sewing machines. There are all of these, antique sewing machines, but a lot of small machines too, little children's machines. And I know sometimes these end up, they say they might be salesman samples too. And I'm never really sure, like, is there a way to tell, like, what is a salesman sample? Were any of them actually salesman samples? Are they all children? I don't know.
I
But
believe
anyway,
those all, from what I'm looking at, those all look like child's machines to me.
yeah. But in any event, I just love this. And I didn't get a chance to look at each one. And there's, they're numbered, and then there's the information about each one. But
Mhm.
very exciting for all of our
Yeah,
machine lovers.
that is really cool. Alicia, do you guys take any more machines if people are getting rid of machines? Asking for a friend. Me. Oh.
So this, I immediately like went to this. This was a little table that was kind of around the corner, and I was like, I have two of these machines. I have this little red one, and I have the Singer.
Mhm.
And then these are so stinking tiny. Like these are child sized. Well, I think these are not actually children's machines here, but these are small machines.
Mhm.
These are microscopic machines. They are like
Yep.
itty bitty little things.
I
So
have quite a few
fabulous.
of those in my
I
collection.
love them. They're so cute. And then they have this neat, how a sewing machine works. And I had to take a picture of that too.
Oh, well, Alicia said we run out of space for machines at the moment. At the moment is the only part of that sentence I'm going to pay attention to.
So now the sewing machine wall is upstairs. And so this is also the show that or the exhibit they had upstairs is Vantage Points by Kevin Womack. He is a quilter textile artist out of Lynchburg, Virginia. And although I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Alicia, but the Virginia Quilt Museum's collection focuses on Virginia quilters, and I suspect that whenever possible, exhibits are also. I realize like Amy's from West Virginia, so not always, but whenever possible, you're trying to uplift the Virginia quilters and artists. So I thought it was really great to see Kevin, as a Virginia artist, and I too hail from Virginia, so. um,
Oh, really?
but Kevin has this very modern stuff. I don't think he's getting much influence from traditional quilting at all. So let's just jump in with his stuff. And I took a couple of. I'll have to reference my phone. I took a couple of pictures of his little statements. Okay, so she said, yeah, exhibits they don't restrict, but they do love the
But they
Virginia
love a
quilters.
Virginian
Yeah.
quilter. Stephanie has some interesting pieces in her life. I can show you one. I have an original Stephanie cake. Should I? Hold on. Hold on. I will get
The
it.
Sue.
Yes, it is an original.
Duncan Sue.
Yeah, it's original Stephanie.
Okay.
It is a Duncan
So
Sue. Isn't that cute?
I may not
And she
have these
even
in the
wrote
right.
Duncan Sue on the back. I'm sorry, it's obviously backwards, but
I may not actually have these in all the right order, so I'm sorry, Kevin, if you ever see this. Um, but I mean, modern art, right? Expressionism.
Oh wow.
Yeah, his stuff is much different. And I know Alicia was had mentioned that he taught a class in dyeing fabric, and that she participated. So that was really cool to hear about. But yeah, his stuff is it's so much different than say Amy's work, and then the traditional stuff. It looks like he's also doing some like I don't know if this is a photo transfer, but this image, it's like a branch, was in two separate quilts, and I hopefully got the picture of the other one that it's in. But and he's doing like some pretty dense quilting. Like a lot of either matchstick quilting. I want to say this one has like a teeny bit of a wave to it. I think the quilting, but it's primarily the matchstick quilting.
Yeah, it looks a little wavy
Oops.
from what I'm
Yeah,
seeing here.
and I think this is a photo manipulation too, because I think these look like eye bolts of some kind.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I mean, in you like the mark making that he's doing is really fascinating to me. Like, I feel like some of this is probably like stamped on. Like this reminded
Alicia
me of
said,
like
sorry, I was just gonna say, Alicia said he is doing a lot with photo
yeah.
transfer right now. That last one was photo
Mm-hmm.
transfer.
Yeah, so like this looks to me like I don't know if you've ever done like printmaking. If you take bubble wrap and put it on like a printing plate, and then that it looks like this. So I'm kind of wondering like if that's what this is.
Hmm.
Or it could be a photograph of that. So yeah, I just I wish I had more time. We just the day flew by. I really wanted to like just get my face up close and look at these. And the other cool thing is because they have these exposed beams there at the museum. A lot of the quilts can be hung, just so you can walk around them. And I love that. I love to be able to go and just get like
Mm-hmm.
up close and personal, 360 around the quilt.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is more photo stuff, photo
Yeah, that
manipulation.
that. Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I'm not sure if I took a picture of this up close, but there's like an American flag. And what I read let's see, it says he teaches a couple of classes with printing on fabric and dyeing. Yeah. There was one, let's see, I took a picture of his artist statement just because I was like, dude, I feel you. I love this. Um, So this one was called Journal Pages, and I think it's not this. It's the two quotes that are over kind of across the room from this. But just as example, he says, rather than record my thoughts and feelings in a traditional journal, I explore my inspirations and moods while printing fabrics. This whole cloth quilt is one such example, and it's not the one we're looking at, but another one. Um, is one such example in which several print techniques with dyes and paints were utilized. What's on my mind? You tell me. And the point being, he has an intention and a personal story or intention he's trying to tell through the quilt, but he's not necessarily tying the viewer to what his intention was. And a lot of my work is like that too. I have my reasons, but I don't necessarily want to force my reasons on people. Um, I have pieces of work that, I do want people to understand what it's about, but others it's like, you tell me, what do you think it's about? Or what do you want it to be about? I thought these were cool. This was like a sort of a mirror image kind
Oh,
of,
is
yeah.
it like it almost looks like the more yellow one? It almost looks like that kind of black portion there, like it's actually like ripped open.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's just some really dark, inky black dye. And yeah, I think he was working with this like egg shape.
Mm-hmm.
This was really cool. I mean, I see all kinds of stuff in this. Um,
Oh
and
my.
these, yeah, this, I think it's this one, and there's another one. It's like he's done a bunch of work on fabric, and then he's cut it apart and reassembled it.
Is this is this as small as it appears to be?
Um, it's it's probably a little bit smaller than width of fabric. So a
So
lot
like
of these,
it's like an Amy Pabst per size, like one of her bigger ones.
probably bigger, probably a little bigger than her biggest
I was
one,
just
but
thinking like it would be very interesting to
side by
actually
side.
have this hang next to an Amy
Yeah,
quilt
yeah.
um for the juxtaposition,
Hmm. We
because
love a
this her some of her
juxtaposition.
stuff well, some of her stuff has this like a lot of movement
Uh
in
huh.
it, and this also has a lot of movement in it,
Hmm.
and I think this would just look very cool together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I'm almost like we might have to take this photo and a photo of hers and put it on social media to be like we have to see these next to each other. Just saying.
Yeah, well, we've got Emies in one of the traditional quilts too to do that with. I do remember this one is called Baby Quilt, and it is like a crib quilt size. And it is not. And the
Ooh.
reason why I remember is because it's not for sale. He had his price list. They had his price
Is
list there, and I
that
was
did
like,
he do like that looks like a stack and whack type technique?
I am no. This stuff is photo manipulation.
Is get out of here.
Yeah, this is not. Yeah, these are printed on the fabric.
Really?
Yeah. I honestly I had a hard time kind of wrapping my head around this one because I was like, how much of it, like, what's pieced and what's like,
It
I if
totally
I
looks used.
yeah, if I was able to have spent more time with it, I think I would know more about it. But again, like, I was trying to get my eyeballs on everything.
Wow, it's bananas.
Yeah, so let's see, am I facing the right way? Yes, I think this one is what I just read, the journal pages. That I think that's this
Hmm.
one. I think, and then this one I think is Satsuma. So as an example, this one is 69 by 64, and this one is 41 by 27. So it's sort of wider than it is tall. So yeah, these are not. I mean, they're in some cases, a wide quilt, but I don't think he's doing anything that's much more than with the fabric.
Was you mentioned in the last one that you were looking at that the baby quilt thing there that one wasn't for sale. Were some of these for sale?
Yes, I think if I'm not mistaken, all of the other quilts were for sale, and I will tell you, they were good art prices.
Okay.
I mean,
Alicia, you don't have to name anything, but like has anything sold yet from this exhibit? And also, if it does sell, does a person get it when the exhibit's over? Like what if it already has like other places to go? Do they only get it after it's done traveling? Interesting
yeah,
questions to
I
ask.
like I want to hear Alicia's response, but also typically, if it is a traveling exhibit, they would not be able to collect it until it's done because those are
I figured. Yeah, I would
yeah.
think so.
Um. Oh, he has smaller stuff in the gift shop that is sold. Yeah. I would say, I mean, his exhibit, they are priced appropriately.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
And then she said,
yeah,
yeah, they have to
you have
wait
to wait
till it's
until
done
it's done
traveling.
traveling. Yeah, because
Well,
typically, yeah.
on the one hand, Steph, the fact that they're priced appropriately, you and I have had numerous discussions about quilt pricing from like a collector antique standpoint and from like a current artist
Hmm.
maker standpoint. So on the very end, like I'm assuming then you are pleased that things are priced the way they are in terms of thinking about your own work, correct?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there was a couple pieces where I was like, Kevin, I think you could probably get a little more for that. But no, but I mean, he
Mhm.
had, like, I think, good pricing. Like, often you'll see artists that just they undersell themselves, or you see artists that are like, no, buddy, you're not going to get $50,000 for that. I'm sorry.
Well, you know what though? You have to remember that could be priced that way on purpose. It's that like what did we call it? It's like the I'll walk it to your car price, but like you
Yeah,
don't really want to sell it. Like
exactly. Yeah, it's what is it? The is it the fu price?
the make me sell it price.
Yeah, I think it's like the fu price. It's like the
That is not the original term you would come up with.
I don't know. I can't remember. Yes, this is the one, I believe that's called journal pages or journal pages. Yeah.
Interesting.
And yeah, like, again, like, I kept looking and seeing like the mark making that he's doing.
I could really
And
see this one hanging in like an industrial space.
yeah, they do. They have a very, like, industrial kind of, like, Well, I mean, like modern, like there's a lot of modern painters that paint in this type of, style, but he's doing this with like fabric dyes,
Hmm.
and then, again, like photo manipulation on fabric. This one here, this one appears to me like this is the back of the quilt. That one appears to me like he did sort of it's like a shibori technique where you fold the fabric up and you clamp it, and you're only
Hmm.
allowing the dye to be on part of the fabric, so then when it's unfolded you have this like really beautiful kind of what you see.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So then I went back downstairs and I failed to get a better picture of this, but this is Log Cabin Fever, which is the little show that's over here. But just to point out a few things, I am standing in the gift shop, and this area back here, this is all where Amy's show was. So
Yeah.
this right here is the one side, and then back behind this wall is the other part that you saw. So it's like this really big open space that, it's kind of chopped up a little bit because of the structure of the building.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's so cool because, there's, they can kind of partition off the room for different exhibits. It's pretty neat.
Hmm.
So here are the things Jill's gonna fall in love with.
Oh no.
These gorgeous old log cabins. This one I
Alicia,
remember.
these are all for sale too, right?
Jill will be down there next week to snatch them all down off the wall. Um, this one, I mean, they were all old, and again, I'm a terrible person. I did not do I didn't get the placards on most of them, but these are 1880s. I think there's a couple that are early 1900s. But these are the age you'd expect them to be. They're nice old late 1800s
For a
beauties.
second, I thought you were gonna say nice old ladies.
They are nice old ladies. This one, it was quilted very simply, but with this black thread. So you
Hmm.
can see the little X there. That's black thread. And I was like, oh, wow. And, if you look close, you could see the black thread in all of the little yellow centers.
Hmm.
And then
Hmm.
just, beautiful fabrics.
Yeah, great, great for our fabric study.
Yeah. Here's another one, barn raising. And, again, the gorgeous fabrics.
Oh,
I was like, ladies, get out of my way. I got to take a picture.
this one actually gives me, because of like the color placement, this I would actually think this was more modern.
Yes, it does have very modern vibes.
Hmm.
And this one, let's see, this one I think was like really pristine. I know one or two of them or had like a couple places where there was some loss in the fabric. But I want to say this was a really pristine one. And I'm trying to remember. It's not this one. There's one that has names in it. So yeah, those red centers. Oh, I know the
Hmm.
reason I took a picture of this one. This is 1880s. That's centennial. That's centennial green.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
if you,
the fabrics in here are really cool.
there
Look
that
at that
these,
little black shirting print. Oh my God.
these little and these just little tiny prints. They're so gorgeous. But I was gonna say this centennial print. It's this very very specific minty green, and once somebody shows it to you, you can pick it out again. Anytime you see a
Mhm.
quilt and you know the general age, you can say that is definitely like mid 1880s.
Well, it's funny is because that mint green, right? It's also like right next to that green on green kind of print that they made for decades.
Yeah.
So when you
Yep.
see that, that's not a hallmark, but like having it paired with that
That.
mint
Mm-hmm.
would be more
Yep. And then
helpful.
like I would say this is probably an indigo, right?
I can't. I've got the delay, so I'm not seeing the
Mm,
exact. Oh, there
okay.
you go.
Sorry.
No worries.
Yeah.
That I
Um.
mean, yeah, I guess I mean it's hard to tell kind of the color on some
Yeah.
photos.
I think these are pretty accurate. Like the lighting in the
It's
museum is very
it's
good.
almost it's looking really dark to me
Hmm.
on my screen.
Ah, okay. This one, oh, this one's gorgeous, and this is the one I think that has names. There's names in these centers.
Ooh, I like that layout a lot.
I know, right? And I'm like, okay, I think is the Furrows one or Streak of Lightning? I can't remember. there's so many different names for the log cabin stuff. But this one, I mean, I know I've seen this pattern before, of course, or the setting, but I don't know what it is. I guess it's just because they used, these very light fabrics to do the zigzags, but then the other fabrics are, they're very eclectic. Like, you've got darker colors, you've got these browns, but then you've got these pops of red and blue that are really surprising. And I just, like, when I saw this, I was like, I wanted to spend more time.
I don't know that I've seen this layout much. If I have, I'm having like a total brain fart. But it's very dynamic.
Mm-hmm. It really is. I wish Barb was here, because I know Barb would tell us right away. Like, oh, that's this setting. Yep, and here's some more. Got some. I mean, just look at here so you can see the writing in some of the blocks. And then just these fabrics again. They're just these pretty shirtings. I mean, that's pretty much what all of the light color was shirtings.
I love that black with the red dot and how they cut it like perfectly to like just show the red dot.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, all the shirting prints. I love shirting prints.
I know. Check this out.
If I was ever going to do wallpaper, it would look like a shirting print. Ooh.
Anybody's quilts
those look like Japanese lanterns.
Well, they kind of look like copper pennies to me. I realize
if you're looking at that side, I was looking at it from the lighter fabric side.
So I realize that it's not exactly the same, because this is a courthouse steps variation, whereas Amy's is a pineapple, but it's still, the courthouse steps, log cabin, and the pineapple. It's the way that you're working your way around the block with the strips. This just is, when I saw this, I was like, oh, this has got those copper pennies vibes, even though I realize it's a slightly different pattern.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this one. Isn't this pretty? I just love this. And then it's just the 3 in each corner have this little embroidery in the center.
Oh, wow.
And I want to say these were all silks. And
yeah, I was going to ask.
I think, if I remember correctly, the centers are like a black velvet. So this one is a later. I think this one's early 20th century, I think.
Yeah, all those purple silks. Really pretty.
Mm-hmm. Isn't it just gorgeous? And I think
and purple looks so great with brown.
Yep, that was the last one.
Mm-hmm. So Alicia said it is silk and black velvet.
So I did a good job. I got none of the dates or the names or anything, but I got a few things right? So yeah, that was my trip. And
did you buy anything in the gift shop?
Yes. Actually, I made my mom buy stuff. She's like, I'll buy you a tote bag or something if you want. I was like, okay, yes, I want a tote bag. And I want a zipper pouch, and I want a new pin. I have the original Virginia Quilt Museum pin. It's a little cloisonne pin. Mm-hmm. But they have these big ones now that are like, I kid you not, like the size of like a badge. But it's like a perfect, and they're magnetic, so it's like a perfect needle minder. So yeah. So my mom bought.
Okay, so then did you buy me anything in the gift shop? You guys.
I might could bring you something.
She went all the way to Virginia Quilt Museum and did not get me a present.
I will bring you a Virginia Quilt Museum present.
Alicia, are you hearing this crap?
Well, so what Alicia doesn't know is that my mom and I are kind of come back on a day when, Amy is not presenting and there isn't a whole gaggle of people, and we get to see the fun stuff besides the stuff that's on exhibit.
Well,
I'm just inviting myself.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't forget, too, that I'm doing a Young and Millennial event there in November. So
yes, and I will be there.
Yeah, you guys have to come for that. And if you don't, we're not friends. So you can buy me a pin then.
Okay. But yes, I didn't get a picture of the gift shop area, but it's also very cute, and they have lots
That
of,
was the most important picture to take.
well, they have lots of really cute stuff. Some like, like quilt blocks, and some like older tops, and like some kinds of things that you see in a lot of different museums, like jewelry, and like pens, and like artist made things, and then of course their tote bags and the zipper pouches and stuff. And my mom, so apparently Pat Sloan, do you know who she is?
Mm-hmm.
Contemporary quilter. I've interviewed her. Gosh, it's probably been like at least a decade ago. I interviewed her for my blog. She's the nicest lady in the world, and she comes from IT. I think she worked for the feds, so she lived in Virginia. And Alicia knows some people who know Pat Sloan, and I think Alicia probably knows Pat Sloan as well. Pat Sloan sometimes destashes her holdings. And she had a piece that was there in the gift shop, and my mom's like, oh, this is so pretty. And then Alicia's like, oh yeah, that's made by Pat Sloan. And I was like, buy that. I'm like, oh my God, it's a Pat Sloan. So
yeah, you definitely want that in your collection.
yeah, my mom was like, well, I don't really care that it's Pat Sloan. I was like, well, you should. Pat's famous. She's like, I just like it. I think it's really pretty. Like, well, that's
I forget with the program.
But that's the right reason for wanting to buy something, is that you like it, not that it's like a famous name. But also, true, when it's something that you like and it's a famous name,
right?
Go on and get you that little quilt.
And also, you were just like, Mom, if you don't care it's a famous name, who cares? I do, and I'm going to inherit it someday.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like a little wall hanging of like tulips. It was very cute.
Pretty.
Yeah. So
that
was the trip.
Photo of it another time.
Yeah, and I didn't even take a picture of it. I was so bad. I don't know what is wrong with me. I've gotten out of the habit of taking good pictures and stuff. So
I guess you can have a little bit of a reprieve because you were driving down there just after cutting off your fingers. So
well, and that's the real reason. I'm sitting here saying it was crowded. I forgot, but really it was my injury.
I mean, to be honest with you, like, touche that you even stuck with that plan. I thought you were actually going to cancel that after you.
No, I did not want to miss it. I started thinking to myself, like, oh my God, what if I can't drive? What if I can't travel? Ah. But I was like, nah, nothing's going to keep me away from a quilt museum, except maybe if I was actively like, like arterial blood flow squirting out of my finger. Nobody wants you at the quilt museum, but when you've got stitches, it's all under control. Yes, you visit the quilt museum.
Wow.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I mean, I get okay. I've got visions now. I'm traumatized. I'm gonna have to sit here and like pet my Duncan Sue to like calm me back down. Like yeah, Leah says can't keep a great quilter down. Well, actually you can, because I said to her the next day, I'm like, oh my God, is that your sewing hand?
Oh, thank goodness it's not. I did do a little tiny bit of sewing last night, and because now I've kind of got like, it's not the gigantic like ping pong ball on the end of my finger. It's a much smaller bandage now, so it's still awkward, but I was able to like stitch a little bit last night. So
oh, that's good. Well, I guess let's see. Next week on Tuesday is going to be a recorded video drop. We'll have it drop at 2 p.m. instead of 7 for people that are antsy. So you won't see us live that week, but then remember, if you came in late, we're going to put up a new calendar for April. And on Sunday, April 6th, assuming everything works good with tech when you're traveling, we're going to do a live stream from our Airbnb in Iowa, where we're visiting the Iowa Quilt Museum, and we will have just left the International Quilt Museum. So we'll be talking all about our trip and have, photos of things that we're doing and whatever and whatnot and all the crazy stuff. And then we're in April. Oh my God.
And April will go by just as fast as March did.
No, it's going to go by faster. Like, we're literally going to be like, oh my God, it's April 1st. There's so many things to do. Ah! And then we're going to like, oh, April's gone. Oh my God. Bye. Bye. Well, on that note, I'm gonna
Well,
go have something to eat.
yes, I'm gonna go have dessert. I did have dinner beforehand, and I am ready to have like probably eat more of my gummy bears, my gummy snacks.
Hey, Druid.
Hey, Druid.
Thanks for watching. We love you.
Me too.
All
So good
right.
to see everybody tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Love it when our friends come by.
We have the best friends.
I know we do. We're lucky. All right, you guys. We will see you soon.
Bye.
Mwah, mwah.